When it comes to flower shopping, size isn't always what matters. And so I am standing in front of my massive bulb order that I unboxed for you guys 2 weeks ago to let you know that I got in my most exciting order of the year, which is in this tiny little box. Here in Canada, our flower wholesale shopping is a little bit limited compared to down in the States. And so one of my favorite companies to order from is Unicorn Blooms, which brings in some of the extra special things that you can't find anywhere else. And in this box is all of my Ranunculus and anemones that I actually ordered back in March, and I can't even remember what's inside. But I don't only just have Ranunculus and anemones from Unicorn Blooms, I also ordered in 175 massive and incredible peony roots to plant out. And I know you guys can't wait to see the Unicorn Blooms order, but first I have to tell you about the vacation I'm gonna be taking this winter. Farmers never get to take time off, but despite that, this winter, our family's going on a vacation to Mexico. And with the help of our sponsor, Babbel, Ian and I are working together to learn Spanish for our trip. Babbel is one of the top language learning apps in the world, with lessons designed by real language teachers to prepare you to have real-world conversations about travel, business, relationships, and more. I suck at learning languages. I've actually taken 4 years of Spanish classes, with 2 of them in university. And the only thing I can confidently say is mi novio es feo, which is not only untrue, but also, Ian probably doesn't want me saying that. But Babbel is scientifically proven to help you start speaking a new language in 3 weeks with a 20-day money-back guarantee. And so far, I feel more prepared than ever to have normal conversations in Spanish.
¿Cómo gastas tu tiempo libre?
Me encanta trabajar. Babbel has a few different subscriptions to choose from, including Babbel for 2, a gift for yourself and a friend so you can learn together. And I feel working with Ian is making my learning easier and more fun. So far, I've learned some really useful phrases, like ¿Dónde está el baño? And Me llamo Serina y odio el césped. Check out the link below in the description to get 70% off for you and a friend, and let me know in the comments what language you would like to learn. A quick story time. When I order my bulbs, I am in the middle of spring craziness. I'm planting everything, I'm digging up tulips, I'm selling things. It's usually Mother's Day. There is a lot going on. And so when I got my 20,000 bulbs that showed up the other day, it was like Christmas. I didn't even know what was inside of it. Opened it up, was super exciting. Couldn't remember what was what, but it was all incredible presents that I bought for myself. I thought that was great. That was done. We got this whole palette, but then just the other week, we got another order that showed up from Van Noort. Apparently there was part of our order that, was back ordered, and I hadn't even realized I had more stuff as well. In my order that I already unboxed, there was 500 Ranunculus, and I thought that was great. That made sense. I knew I ordered a 100 pack of every single Ranunculus the Van Noort offered. I thought there was a chance that I would have ordered anemones as well, but I knew that my main order for anemones had been done with Unicorn Blooms, which I had already ordered when I ordered this stuff. So I figured, wow, Serina, you were really restrained. You didn't double order things. That's so unlike you. But I should have known myself better, because in the secret order, I didn't know that it was coming. I had 600 anemones. So exactly as I suspected, I had ordered a ton of anemones from Van Noort. And when I saw what I ordered, I was so glad that I'd done it. In this box here, I have 100 pack of 2 different varieties. I have Full Star Blue, and then I also have Full Star White. Ooh. I'm really happy with the size of these corms. They're nice and big, and I know I haven't showed you what they look like yet, because these are what I'm so excited about. And I also got 100 of the Full Star Red. And now I'll show you. These anemones blow my mind. These look incredible. The double frilliness of them, the colors, having these like bright, fun, frilly colors. Anemones here, for me, I'm in a zone 5, they do really well. I had anemones that survived getting tilled and the winter and came back really early, all on their own. So I think I have a lot of potential for anemones here. I want to get these into my tunnels really early, get them producing. Anemones, you know, they start out for me with fairly short stems, but they go for multiple months if I can get them into the ground early enough. And by the end, when they're, you know, blooming at their ideal stem length, they're really tall and they're really great for me to use. So these double frilly ones, if I can get these like to bloom early enough to maybe pair with some tulips, if I can get these to be having really nice stem length at the same time that I have all my abundance of colorful ranunculus, if I could maybe have some of these for Mother's Day, that would be incredible. They're supposed to have a really good stem length, and I can't wait to experiment with these. I also have 100 packs of 2 varieties that I grew last year. I have 100 Bordeaux anemones, and these beautiful, beautiful color. They reminded me of the fantasy of what a red poppy could be. I loved them. They were so dramatic. In the spring, I took this picture of them in a jar up against our blue door at the roadside stand, and I had so many customers like driving down trying to buy that one specific bouquet. The way that red just popped, it was so fun to have to use, and super long stems, really productive, really abundant. I was really happy with how this grows. The other thing that I loved about Bordeaux is when I dried this, it dried to a navy blue color. I never expected to be able to get a navy blue dried flower. I really want to experiment with what I can do with those navy blue dried flowers if I dry more and dry them better next year. The other variety that I grew is the caramel white, and I got 100 of those too. Yet again, really tall in the way that the Bordeaux was dramatic and punchy. The caramel white was just this perfect neutral. It was very formal, perfect for wedding work, but I also could mix it into a bouquet. It really added the touch that I was looking for in my spring bouquets that I couldn't really find in any other varieties. So these, I'm so happy to have them back again. And then finally, I have 100 rainbow blueberry. And these, I'm not quite sure what's gonna happen with these. The stem length is a little borderline for me compared to the other ones. They're just a little bit shorter, but the color, you know, the color is really good. So I'm excited to experiment. I'm excited to see. Like I said, we had so much success with the anemones that I think that pouring more energy into learning more about them, experimenting with these varieties, it's just going to get me farther ahead for the years to come. And I'll let you guys all know, and then you'll be able to learn from my mistakes, and then you can go and get whatever works best too. And then finally, I have a whole entire box of another variety of tulips that didn't ship out for my main order. This is 700 Secret Perfume, and I grew this last year. It was one of the, you know, expensive fancy ones that I had invested into, and it was gorgeous. The colors were so unique. It was like creamy and blush. It was a variety that was, you know, exactly what I was looking for. It was formal so that it could have been like a wedding tulip, but it blended really nicely with a lot of stuff. So this is going to be the star of many tulip bouquet recipes. I'm very glad that past Serina bought future Serina 700. My mom is obsessed with Christmas. She loves Christmas. She's like a little kid. She still wakes up at 5 in the morning, excited to get into her Christmas presents. And when I was a kid, I was very cruel. And what I would do is I would take my time on Christmas morning. I would be like, oh, there's no rush. Let's sleep in. Me and my brother used to drive her crazy. And she'd be like, this is the best present. This is the best present of all. You should open this one first because I can't wait for you to see what's inside this box. And then we'd be like, oh, you know what? Let's just put this one aside. Everyone wants to save the best for last. And so that is the cruelness I'm gonna do to you guys we won't get into the most exciting box of the year yet. We're going to start with the peony roots. As we head into our 5th year of farming in the 2023 season, we've been rethinking what we're doing on the farm. We originally started out and we were a veggie farm. Now we're looking like we're more of a flower farm. And that is changing how we plan the field. We're making more investments into flowers being a permanent component of the farm. And for us, one of the biggest ways that we're doing that is we are planting 2,000 square feet with peony roots. Peonies are a little tricky for me personally, coming from, thinking about just doing annuals where you plant them in the spring, you harvest them in the summer, and you don't have to worry about them after that. Peonies, you need to get into the ground, and they take about 3 years before you start harvesting them. But once you have them, 3 years on, they produce and they produce and they produce. By year 5, your peony plants can be these massive hedges that could do up to 20 stems per plant. And that, with a peony, a big, beautiful bloom, can be a lot of money with, a very reasonable amount of labor for a flower farmer. So the sooner we get these peonies planted, the sooner we start doing that. And we wanted to buy some of the best peonies that we get, and that is what our unicorn bloom peonies are about. In our last unboxing from Van Noort with our tulips, we also had 200 peonies. Those were smaller. They were 2-3i. They were a very affordable price. They were very popular varieties, for a reason. They're beautiful. They'll be great. They're things that have been around for 100 years, and they'll be around for another 300 years because, when you have just a perfect white, it's a perfect white. But, there's only so much of that you can have. And so what I got from the unicorn blooms, they were expensive for me. I don't mind spending money on these orders if they can make me money. But even for me, I felt a little restrained. We got 175. They came in orders of 35. Each of this case has 35 of different varieties. And it was fun for me to pick these all, but I also was trying to be conservative, trying to think of just basic, simple things that I could use again and again. And man, looking back at what these actually look like, I'm very excited. It's going to be hard not to let them bloom in, the first year or two, to hold off to try to get the plants established for, all these years and years to come. Before I get to telling you about the varieties, I need to show you what it is I mean when I say that, these I spent a lot more money on because it was an investment that's going to make sense. So this is like a single peony root here. These, you can see the bud starting. These are all eyes, and all this root mass. This is energy that the plant is going to have to make big, beautiful flowers sooner than me for others. And then in comparison, this is the 2-3 eyes that I was ordering from Van Noort. These were 1/5 of the price of the unicorn bloom peony roots. So, the price was really good. But one thing you can't buy is time, other than by buying plants that will produce sooner. And so those bigger roots is like getting free time for myself. This variety here is called Brother Chuck, and it is the most beautiful, soft pink, just pom-pom puff that I've ever seen. These, I'm really excited to see it in person. I know those really soft pinks, they're very hard to capture with a camera. They're the type of thing that when you see them in person, they're hard to describe, that just, soft, gentle coloring. So these, I'm so excited about all these peonies. It's going to be like torture. It's going to be torture having to wait all these years until I can see them. You gotta tuck them back into bed. My precious. In this box, I have 35 Sunny Girl. And this is probably the variety that I'm the most excited about because this is a butter yellow that can even have some tinges of pink streaked throughout it. And you know, all the other peonies that I've ordered are kind of like whites and pinks and like, you know, maybe kind of like a dark pink into the red tones. This is the one that's going to be really unique. And I know that the yellows, they're really desirable. I could have invested into corals. Corals are also, you know, currently a really desirable color. But spending a little bit of money getting this yellow now, I think this is something that's going to be timeless for years to come, and it's supposed to be a really strong grower. So I'm really excited. I can't. This one was expensive. This one was, I was like, oh, it's so much money. I don't know if I should buy it. And Ian's like, just do it. But I'm so glad I did, because like, you know, it's fun. It's fun to have something a little different in that springtime. And any of those kind of like Easter pastel colors is, for us, always sells really well. Then we have 35 Class Act. And this is, you know, this beautiful puffball pom-pom of this soft cream color that, you know, they look fake when you see them in pictures. It's hard to imagine how they could be so full and so beautiful. The thing also that is so exciting for me about Class Act is it's also supposed to be really fragrant. It's supposed to be, you know, just a beautiful smell. We don't have very many things on the farm that have scent to it. Ian's kind of like been like, no stinky flowers, but it's nice to have a few of those. And I know for me personally, the smell of peonies, it's just, you know, it's like the definition of spring. So I can't wait. Next up, we have 35 Nancy Nora, and like look at these plants. These things are crazy. I'm so excited about how large these roots are. Nancy Nora is this beautiful soft pink. Yet again, like flowers so big and so full, they look fake. Guys, like I'm very, very excited to see these. And then last but not least, 35 Bowl of Cream, which yet again, insane, beautiful pom-pom, look fake flowers, but in a nice, like warm white color. These are staggered a little bit from the other white variety that we have. All gonna be best sellers, all gonna be top sellers, having 175 of these big, beautiful plants, bulking that up with another 25 of our ones that we got from Van Noort. Having this 300 peony bed is gonna be so exciting in the years to come. Okay, but I've teased you enough. Time to get on to the unicorn blooms, ranunculus, and anemone order, best order of the year, all the good stuff. We are obsessed with ranunculus here on the farm. Last year, for the very first time, we ordered from Unicorn Blooms, and by doing that, it opened up opportunities to grow colors that we didn't even realize existed when it came to ranunculus. From Van Noort, we'd been getting, you know, the whites and the pinks. In our first year of ordering, Van Noort messed up. The color, it was supposed to be salmon, I think, ended up being yellow. We were like, yellow! I mean, it makes sense. Ranunculus are a buttercup. They probably should all naturally be yellow, but the yellow was incredible. We were like, how do we get more of this yellow that we weren't supposed to have gotten in the first place? And that's how we actually discovered Unicorn Blooms. Then, when we saw the colors we could have gotten from them, which were limited last year, we ordered in the winter, and most of like the main ordering that you do for these kind of things, you do in the spring, to then receive in the fall. So ordering in the winter and kind of getting them late, we were really limited on colors. But despite that, we got yellow, we got orange, we got red, we got like a burgundy. So exciting. The ranunculus that we had in this last spring that we, you know, that happened, better than ever. Our customers were so excited for those really bright colors really early on. It made it so we could sell more ranunculus than we thought was possible. And then when we saw what we could have also ordered if we'd been more on the ball for ordering, very exciting. And so let's get into it. The first one that we got here is my number one ultimate favorite, best ranunculus ever, 11 out of 10, 8,000 stars, orange. These orange ranunculus are so incredible. We ordered 200 of them last year, and I was like, not enough. We need even more. So this year we have 300. And for context, our bed that we planted in the greenhouse had 500 ranunculus planted in it. So this is like half of a greenhouse bed worth of ranunculus just in this bag here. So the way ranunculus works is the corms are sized. So they, with the peonies that I was showing you, they're sized according to how many little eyes are on the plant. So those first ones that I showed you, the roots were really small. The Van Noort ones, those are a 2-3 eye, right? The root itself isn't what you're paying for. It's how many little plants are popping up. And then my unicorn blooms ones, they were guaranteed to be at least 5 eyes. Some of these ones that I was pulling out to show you looked like they had 12 eyes popping up, having those huge roots attached. That isn't really how they're sold by, but having all that root matter is what's going to make them establish really well. Ranunculus, a little bit different. And anemones are like this too. And it can be a little confusing when you go to order. So the ranunculus, this is the largest size ranunculus that we can buy from our sources. And this is a 5-7. And what that means is that if we took a little tape measure and wrapped it around these little root balls here, it would have a circumference of 5 to 7 centimeters, is my understanding. Let me know down in the comments if I'm completely wrong. But yeah, so when you think of that, 5 to 7 centimeters, that's 2 to 3 inches, right? So tiny, that's 3 inches in circumference, right? Which makes sense, right? Stick that in there, right? That's a good 3 inches. But so the bigger the corm, the more energy that's in the plant. The more, flowers they'll produce, the bigger, the more lush they'll get. So if you can get the biggest size, you'll get the best plants. So we ordered, they're almost twice as much money to get the 5-7s versus, I think they're 2-3, 3-5, and a 5-7, or the different sizes. So whenever possible, we wanted the biggest ones. And last year, we couldn't get the biggest ones because, we'd ordered so late, we only got the scraps. So our orange plants, which produced incredibly, were actually a smaller plant. So this year, having 300, but having them be the 5-7 size means that, this being 300 plants instead of 200 that we did last year does still have the potential to maybe produce twice as many instead of just 150% more because they're those bigger roots. So, just some facts. And the anemones, they're sold in the same way. They're kind of categorized and they're by the circumference sizes. And yet again, same idea. The bigger they are, the bigger and healthier the plants are. Or not healthier, but the bigger the plants are. What we have here, this is great. I'm so glad that I told you guys about the sizing, because this is going to be a perfect example of sizing stuff. These are the yellow, and look how massive this bag is, right? Here's the orange. So this bag has 200 in it, and they're a 5-7 also. But obviously the yellow produces bigger root balls, right? So even though this is a 5-7, once we pull one of these out, look how massive these are. These are probably let's see, 4 inches, maybe even 4.5 inches in the circumference. These are really, really big, really big corms. So we love the yellow too. So yeah, if these big, huge, massive, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. These are my favorite, and having so many of the colors, it makes me so happy. But yeah, so having 200 of this yellow, really, really exciting. If I could, I'd just be let's be a ranunculus farm and let's only grow orange and yellow because they're my favorite. But who knows? Because there's new stuff. Ask me next summer. Maybe I'll have new favorites. Next up, we ordered 100 of the large size of the red. The red, like I said, if I could only grow orange and yellow and I could sell them all, I'd be super excited. But the red were a nice mix. They weren't as exciting to the customers as those yellows and oranges. They were so fun and punchy. And they did have some issues for us of having the potential of getting damaged. The water could get on the petals on the red, and then it would leave blemishes on the flowers. So we are doing a little bit less of the red with only having 100, just because they are a little bit fussier. But the more colors I have, the more things I can do, right? So by having every single color in the entire world, it means that I can have more bouquet recipes. And one of our favorite things to grow last year was a rainbow bouquet, and you gotta have red in the rainbow. So gotta have red ordered. Then we also ordered 100 of hot pink. We had a bright pink last year, but I don't think it was this exact pink. I think it was more of just like a bright pink, and this hot pink color is supposed to be just a little bit more vibrant. With the Ranunculus, you know, there's lots of people who sell soft bridal colors with the Ranunculus. I'm really excited to do something totally different, to grow something that our customers can't get anywhere else. And doing our, you know, our market bouquets, these bright punchy colors, they sell to a different customer, but they sell with a lot of excitement. So getting the absolute brightest Barbie pink color Ranunculus I could possibly get is very exciting for me. And I'm really excited to see what these are gonna look like in person. I also, in my experience, the pinks that I've grown weren't as susceptible to like water damage as like what the red was. So I'm really excited to have these pink. And then the Ranunculus that I'm the absolute most excited about, these are the things that are hard to get. I haven't ever grown them before, but I've seen other people growing them, and I'm so excited for spring to be able to show you once these bloom, is I'm totally gonna mess this up. The Elegance Bianco Sfumato, and then the Elegance Pastello Striato. I'm sure I messed that up. But so these are almost like a variegated look to them. They look unreal. These look fake when you see them. So the Striato, if I was to describe how these look, it's like the edge of the petal is dipped. So, you know, I'm really excited. I'm really excited to, you know, see. And then, you know, there's variations between each of the plants, right? So, you know, some of them will be more vibrant, some of them will be more subtle. So I'm really excited to see this. And then the Sfumato, you know, they're like tie-dyed, right? Like they're white. These ones are white, and then they have, you know, just some of that pink mixed in. So I'm really excited about these. These ones are smaller. Here, I'm gonna open one of these up. So these, they didn't have the 5'7" size. They were sold out of the bigger size. And so these are a good example to show you guys like how small they are when you don't get those big beauties. So there we go. You can see like very, very small, like the size of a fingernail, kind of compared to the other ones, which, you know, are, you know, like a large marble type size. But even though these are like tiny little things, these will still grow into an entire full plant and produce flowers. So, you know, size isn't what always matters. You know, it matters a little bit, but like these are still very good. One of the things I tried to buy this year, and it didn't actually come in with the order. They must have been completely sold out. But they had a variety that was the yellow, and then it was like dipped on the edges with red. So like a yellow, bright yellow with like this variegation of red streaked throughout it. And I tried to order that one, but I suspect maybe not everyone else is as excited as me about crazy colored ones, or everyone's like double excited about crazy colored ones, and so they sold out. But no luck for me on those ones. We'll have to hold out for next year. So I ended up chatting so much that I actually killed my battery, and I was freezing. So I'm back inside with the best stuff of all, cozy, looking at all the beautiful anemone options I had to choose from, and these are amazing. As I spoke about earlier on, I feel like there is a lot of potential for anemones. I feel like if we can learn to grow the anemones a little bit better, they're gonna do a lot for us here on the farm. Last year, one of our best-selling bouquets was a rainbow bouquet. And if we could have had a few more options with the anemones, I feel like it would have been really wonderful to have that rainbow of colors, but also have more than just the ranunculus, have the anemones and the ranunculus together. And I know I've spoken again and again and again about not wanting to do wedding flowers. The anemones have that more formal wedding look. You know, we have the white ranunculus, which are going to be great for weddings. I don't really want to start growing all the soft pastel colors, but the anemones, you know, if I can have a collection of wedding spring anemones, I feel like that's something we could do really well with. So let's get into the colors. I'm gonna start with the color I'm the most excited about of all. This is blue. And the color of this, when I see it in people's pictures, is just this like super, super soft, beautiful, gentle blue. And blue sells so well. I've come to realize anything blue, anything blue, I need to grow it here on our farm. I don't have blue ranunculus. That is the color that is missing in my rainbow. But having these blue anemones means that I can add that in to the bunch, and I'm really excited about it. I bought 200 of the blue because I feel like we're going to be using it lots and lots and lots here on the farm in the spring. The other thing I was really hoping to get this year was going to be a white anemone. White in the center and white petals. But it ended up being sold out. So I did get 100 of the white with the black center. I have some of these also from the Van Noort, but you know, it's so classic, and as I said, it blends so well, so I'm definitely not going to regret having more of these. And then I have 100 Mistral Rarity, and the color of this, I can understand Rarity being the name. You know, I almost want to call it silver or metal when I describe it. And when I see people's pictures of them online, it doesn't look real. It almost looks like, you know, it's been photoshopped or the colors have been messed with. So I think this is going to be one of those ones that's just really difficult to take a picture of. It's really difficult to be able to translate what you see with your eye into an image. And I think it's going to look really unique. I think it will do well for more formal work, stuff I can maybe sell to florists, but also it's going to blend in the colors in the way that maybe the white doesn't. It's going to, you know, add a little bit more depth without being so starkly white. So I'm really excited. And then I have Rosa Chiaro. I'm sure I messed that up. And this looks like the ultimate little girl, perfect, pretty in pink, just gentle, blushing anemone. Like, I can't wait to have these on the farm. You know, like I've said, I don't know a lot about anemones, and this year I'm really excited. You know, just in what I'm going through here, we bought 700 anemones in total from Unicorn Blooms, and when we add that on to the 300, you know, 1,000 anemones, like that's enough for us to have 2 full beds. And this last year with the cold weather that we had, our anemones were blooming for almost 3 months. So I'm really excited to do a lot of learning about anemones and share a lot of details with you guys come spring. Ian isn't as excited about anemones. Ian sees these super roughly, super full ranunculus, and he thinks that they're the thing that sets our farm apart. But I think for me, my opinion is the thing that sets our farm apart is that we have stuff that other people don't have. And in the same way that other people don't have ranunculus around us at the market and at roadside stands, people don't have anemones. And so this is just another thing that we can do to make ourselves special. And then the last 2 varieties, which I'm so excited. These look fake. These look like your kids came and painted the flowers. I have Mistral Tigre, which is, you know, looks like it's going to be bubblegum it looks like it's going to be bubblegum pink stripes. And yet again, like any of these kind of variegated ones, every single plant produces flowers that are just slightly different. So, the colors are fairly consistent, but how much striping, how much variegation varies from plant to plant. So a bunch of just this looks so cool. And then they were like, ooh, new this year is the Tigre Venado, and this is a purple stripe. So, I also, I didn't really have a perfectly purple ranunculus for my purple bouquet, so maybe I'm going to be having blue anemones and purple striped anemones to make my beautiful rainbow bouquets. But these, can it be spring yet? Can I take off my big cozy sweater and us just get to the good part? So that's everything that we have ordered. Like I said, it doesn't take much. That box, in the end, it was quite a small box. Each of these bags aren't very big, despite, this here, this in my hand is an entire 50-foot bed here on our farm. So, these little bits, these actually add up. These add up to a lot of excitement. I'm really excited for the things that we're going to be doing for the spring. I'm really excited about what we've learned so far this past year with doing just flowers, and where we can take the learning that we've already had to the next level, and the details that we can get from that to share with you guys. I know that there's going to be a lot of mistakes that I'm going to make when it comes to these anemones. I know that there's mistakes that I haven't made yet with the ranunculus, and those are my opportunities to learn, and those are my opportunities to make mistakes, learn, and then let you guys learn from my mistakes, so you don't have to make those mistakes yourself. So I know that it's not flowers yet, but it will be soon, and so I can't wait, guys.